Hey, it's Dad Steve. Please like and subscribe. Please click on the deck heroes icon. Click on subscribe. It's 100% free. Blood in, blood out. And also click on notifications just so you don't miss out on any amazing content. This is one of those videos. She's an amazing narrator, amazing storyteller. It's I don't know if you remember the Tinder Swindler during lockdown. We've got the black Tinder Swindler now. And every so often she keeps on saying that there's a lot of black girls that got caught out by this scam. I would have guessed that it would have been just women in general. But nevertheless, she's one of those unfortunate victims that got caught out. She's going to give a quick summary of what's to come in this second and possibly final part. Let's see. Yeah, go.
This is where the story gets insane. In fact, I can't even record it today. The police gets involved. Bomber jackets, big boys in bomber jackets get involved. Letters get involved. Court cases get involved. I'm gonna have to record this another day. This is how I discovered that Takutwa Chinguza, the black Tinder swindler, was scamming me and many other black girls out of tens of thousands of pounds. I hear it, 10-minute video, let's try and make this happen. I'm guessing you're here for a MacBook or an Apple product. When I say my jaw dropped, and in that moment it started clicking, what was going on? And
Right, so in the part before, I think she managed to get an address somehow, and she kind of drives up the motorway, knocks on the door, and this lady answers the door. He's a black guy, and a white lady answers the door. White lady answers the door, basically saying that, oh, I'm guessing you're here for what's he called again? Taduzwa. So Takutwa. Yeah, and this scam's been run quite a few times. So let's see what she says.
Yes, how do you know? And she said, many girls who are young, black, come knocking, looking for Takutwa, saying that they were promising kind of Apple products. I couldn't gasp. I didn't even have it in me to gasp. And she said, you might want to try and knock 2 doors down over to your right and see if Takutwa was home. Then I realized Takutwa had covered the address with his stamp so that I wouldn't know exactly what door number he lived at, but I was very close. I walked 2 doors down. It's a pretty nice house. I knock on the door. A 90-year-old white man answers the door. And I'm like, what is this wild goose chase? This man has nothing to do with Takutwa. Does Takutwa Chinguza live here? And he said, oh, one moment. And I thought, okay, I'm getting close. Remember Takutwa said his mom was in America. His mom was always busy. She was a high-flying surgeon. She was an American. And guess who answers the door? Guess who this 90-year-old white man gets to answer the door? Takutwa's mum. This 90-year-old white man and this 50-year-old quite good-looking black woman, they're in a relationship, which I'm not really going to say what 2 and 2 I was putting together, but
I don't want you to miss that. So his mum's around about 50. He's 90. You know, well done, Carl. Well done, sir. You silver fox. Anyway, let's go on.
Let's just say it was starting to look like it was running in the family. So I say to Takutwa's mum, is Takutwa here? And she starts to get so defensive, tries to shut the door in my face, saying, no, Takutwa isn't here, Takutwa isn't here. I literally put my foot in the door and I say, where is Takutwa? Because at this point, I'm on smoke. Like, you know where Takutwa is? You're Takutwa's mum. Takutwa's not here. I haven't seen him in years. We're arguing back and forth. And at some point, I literally have to calm myself down and say, okay, what we're doing is ridiculous and unproductive. Let's actually have a conversation. At this point, she invites me into the house. This woman tells me that she hasn't seen Takutwa in years. She's estranged from her son. She doesn't know why he's doing this scam operation. And she has absolutely nothing to do with it. What can I do at this stage? If this is what she's telling me, what can I do? Even if she's lying, there's nothing I can do or say. All I realize at this point is that I'm not getting my £200 back. I'm not getting my £640 back. I'm not getting my £400 back. And at this point, it's still not really dropping that everything was a lie. It's still not really, like, the penny's not really dropping. So anyway, at this point, we've just that Takutwa's lied about his address, that his mum is not American, she has an African accent just like he does. She's living in the UK with a 90-year-old white man with a trust fund, 6'5", blue eyes. I can't even get to my car before I message Takutwa, what the fuck? Everything was a lie. And he says, what do you mean everything was a lie? Sorry, I was just busy. And I said, I'm at your mum's house. He just typed, I'm so sorry. And at this point, I'm like, why? If you needed money, why didn't you just tell me? I would have helped you and given you money. It's still not clicked that the character is also a lie. And I said to him, at this point, I'm going to have to go to the police. And he said, go to the police then. That response, that cocky response told me everything I needed to know. This was something he was doing on a daily, and he knew that the police weren't really going to interfere in any kind of way. So then immediately after Takutwa tells me, go to the police then, he blocks me. I'm blocked out of his life. I'm realizing I'm not getting this money back. So I drive all the way home to London. Honestly, my mind is a bit frazzled and fried, but I immediately get on my laptop and start doing some investigation work because I have to work out what the F just happened. So I go home and the first thing I think is, what's the deal with this Emirates ticket? Because I saw the email from Emirates and it was a real email that was forwarded from Emirates. So I call Emirates because I noticed that on the email, Takutwa has left his frequent flyer number, the ticket number. And so I call Emirates and I say, hey, I just want to know if everything's in good order with my ticket. This is my passenger name. This is the ticket number. You know what Emirates tell me? The ticket was never paid off. How? How do you ask? Apparently Emirates has a scheme where you can basically reserve a ticket where they give you a confirmation as though you've purchased the ticket, and then you have about 3 days to pay the ticket off. If the ticket is not paid off in 3 days, then the ticket gets dissolved. But in the interim, you do get a genuine confirmation from Emirates. And I think this is if you're part of the frequent flyer program. So the £640 that I spoke about gets dissolved. But in the interim, you do get a genuine confirmation from Emirates. And I think this is if you're part of the frequent flyer program. So the ticket that he said.
Okay, so what I'm thinking is there really nothing on that confirmation which confirms that it's not fully paid, it's not paid in full? Unless I know you can kind of edit things, and I guess that may be what happened. Never know.
That got me to send him that £640 that I spoke about. Yeah, that ticket was never paid for, ever. And I didn't know that Emirates had this scheme because I've never done like a buy now, pay later flight process. At this point, I just need to pause and remind you that this was the same kind of ticket that he was going to give my mum to go to her dead mother's funeral, which would have left her at Heathrow or Gatwick Airport without an actual ticket to Ghana. He was willing for my mum to miss her dead mother's funeral on her way to Ghana. Like, do you understand how sick this guy is? So the next thing I do is I call my boyfriend at the time, because my boyfriend at the time was a doctor. Mind you, Takutwa and I were never in a romantic relationship. For all of you men who jumped in my comments and say, tell him, this is what happened, blah, blah, blah. And he asked me, is this guy even a real doctor? It has never occurred to me that someone who's my friend would tell me their job and that occupation is simply not their true occupation. So then he tells me, you know that you can check if someone is a registered doctor in the UK just by looking on the GMC register, and that's publicly available. This is not information I knew. Remember, I was not a med student yet. I wasn't a doctor yet. I didn't know. So then I type in his full name on the GMC register. Guess what? There's no doctor of that age and name match that comes up on the GMC register. Takutwa Chinguza is officially not a doctor. Next thing, I think to myself, well, I graduated from Cambridge before, so I know that Cambridge publishes a public class list for everyone who's previously graduated from the university. You might ask, why didn't I check the Cambridge registration before? And what friend would double check every bit of information their friend tells them about their life? Like, so I checked the Cambridge registration, the Cambridge class list. Takutwa Chinguza never graduated from the University of Cambridge. I do some digging. I find out that Takutwa Chinguza graduated from Swansea University with a degree in computer science. Everything is starting to crumble. In a previous part, I told the story about how Takutwa introduced this character, Michelle, who he was lending £10,800 to, and she was paying him back in installments to pay off £12,500. But remember, I said that he asked PayPal for a refund, but he never showed me him talking to Michelle about getting a refund. So I'm assuming that this Michelle character is somehow a sick and twisted part of his scam. One error Takutwa made, and one place where he effed up, was sending me a screenshot of Michelle, not only of their WhatsApp conversations, but also of their Instagram conversations, where I could see her Instagram handle. So I searched her up on Instagram, found her, and DM'd her. And I was basically on smoke saying, hi Michelle, these are the things I know about you. I'm not sure if you're aware, but Takutwa is a scammer, and if you block me, then you're a scammer too. So I would basically reply if I were you. So she replied saying she has no idea that Takutwa was a scammer. To her, he's always been good. He's paid off her uni fees, yada, yada, yada. So we get on the phone and we have a very long phone conversation to basically, I ask her as much as I can about Takutwa. At this point, Michelle and Takutwa are still really close and trusted friends. I uncover that Takutwa is indeed Zimbabwean. And this is something that she knows because she herself is from the south side of Africa. So he would not be able to lie to her about what part of Africa he's from because she would be able to recognize that lie. But the main thing that I discover is that Takutwa never told Michelle that he requested a refund. At this point in time, Michelle's under the full impression that Takutwa has paid for her uni fees, and she's therefore paying him money back to pay him back for this £10,800 that he spent on her, when he's never spent that money on her because I have the receipts of the PayPal transfer back to his account. So basically, he's scamming Michelle out of £12,500 by not telling her that he's requested a refund. And by the time that she would get the notification about the refund, she would have already graduated because her graduation has already happened at this point and she'd be in Africa. So she might not even get that notification. And she would just be paying money to Takutwa. Like, this is too much. So at this stage, I think the smartest thing to do is to tell Michelle not to break up her friendship with Takutwa.
Just a second, a little bit later, that refund that she just mentioned, she'll talk about it again. So at this stage, I think she just said that Takutwa had requested and received that refund. Okay, let's see later.
not to give away the fact that she knows that this is basically a scam, okay? So I say to her, you tell Takutwa that you want to meet up with him in Cambridge, in the shopping centre, at a restaurant, to give him money in cash. What's going to happen is, I'm going to turn up. I'm going to rock up. You don't even have to be involved if you don't want to be involved. So in between the time that Michelle and I have this phone call and the day of the sting operation, I call one of my friends from my old school. And I can tell you one thing about my old school. I went to a very diverse school with a lot of intimidating guys, okay? So I call one of these intimidating guys and say, this is what's happened with me. You basically have to roll with me because Takutwa needs to be shaken in his boots when I confront him. And he says, say no more, he's coming. This is how I uncovered all of the scam in Takutwa Chinguza, the black Tinder swindlers' big operation. So the day of the operation happens. I finish work, he finishes work, we jump in my car, we drive to Cambridge. The only flaw in our plan is that we're working on black people time. And we are running late for the time that we've told Michelle to set Takutwa up at the restaurant. She's actually meeting him at the restaurant first so that he doesn't feel like anything suspicious is going on. And then we are basically going to roll in seconds later. But she's telling me that she's getting nervous. She's telling me that she's scared. She's telling me she thinks this guy is now a bad guy and she doesn't want to do it. And we're like, hold on. We're on the M11. We're on the M11. Just hold on. We're coming. We're so ready to run up on Takutwa. We get to Cambridge.
Right. I don't know if you missed it. I don't want you to miss it, especially now I sped up the playback. I think her kind of like angry friend, the male friend that she picked up, the hoodie guy, he was on what she called black people. He was late, basically. He was late, which kind of pushed everything back. And now the agreed time they was going to see this kind of scam artist, this black Tinder swindler. It's kind of like, is it going to happen? We'll see.
Michelle has told us that she's gone straight to the police station and Takutwa has grown suspicious because no one was turning up and left the restaurant, so he's no longer there. So we have now driven to Cambridge, all the way to Cambridge for nothing. Mind you, Michelle is moving to Africa tomorrow because she's had a graduation and she doesn't live in this country. So this was my last link to Takutwa. So at this point, there's nothing else for us to do. All we can do is drive to the police station, meet Michelle there, and talk it out at that point. We tell the police everything that's happened. The police are doing nothing about it. The police in the UK do nothing about fraud, which is why so many fraudsters can just get away with what they're doing, which is why Takutwa responded, go to the police, because he's probably had several people reporting to the police and he knows that nothing is going to happen to him. The police literally laugh in our face and say, this sounds like a romance scam, ha 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 ha. I'm thinking there's zero romance about it. Can't you see that this scam is so much bigger than the two people standing in front of you? We're stuck in the police station for hours, because it's taking so long, even though they're doing nothing about it. After this, we're exhausted, we're tired. We all decide, so Michelle's boyfriend, myself, and my friend from school, all decide that we're going to go to a restaurant and really get into the meat of everything that happened, because Michelle and I were interviewed separately at the police station. And at this point, I'm still uncovering more information. First of all, I uncover that Takutwa had a whole different character and persona when it came to Michelle, was more molded towards Michelle's character and what she might like. His character was a lot more exaggerated. In Michelle's world, Takutwa was like a billionaire, as in he has a billion British pounds. Like, this is way exaggerated. He wasn't this philanthropist or anything like that. He was just a cocky billionaire guy, which was not the persona he had with me. He's really kind, down to earth, shy, blah, blah, blah. But like I say, he builds different characters. And at this point, I'm telling her the part of the story where Takutwa offered me that internship. And I got that voicemail on my phone from the lady, and she confirms to me that she's seen ID from him that has Dr. Takutwa Chinguza. I told her that I found records of him attending Swansea University. I play the voicemail to her that I got from Adam Brooks Hospital. Do you know what Michelle tells me? She says, that's Takutwa's girlfriend. That's Takutwa's girlfriend's voice. Takutwa's girlfriend? This is the first time I'm hearing of Takutwa having a girlfriend in the first place, let alone the fact that it was her that sent me that voicemail from Adam Brooks Hospital. There is no Adam Brooks. There is no hospital. This is a massive operation run by Takutwa and his girlfriend. And this is the first time I'm clocking that Takutwa is not doing this solo. It's a team effort. And Michelle tells me at this stage that actually when they meet up and when Takutwa comes for dinner over at her and her boyfriend's house, Takutwa is the quiet one and his girlfriend is the one that actually does a lot of the talking. The girlfriend is the one who's the brains behind this operation. Takutwa is the image and the face and the puppet that runs the show. His girlfriend is the brains behind the operation. Dinner is now done. It's gotten quite late, but me and my friend from school are not satisfied with the outcome. It's time to take matters into our own hands. Like I said, I went to a school of very diverse characters, and so my friend from school calls another friend from school and basically says, yo, I need someone's address. I'm not going to go into any further details, but he said he needed an address, and 5 minutes later, an address was dropped to his WhatsApp. So we now have an address for Takutwa Chinguza that was obtained, and however it was obtained, and we decide, say no more, we're driving the hour, and we're going to Takutwa's new address. I park up. At this point, my friend from school puts his bomber jacket on, puts his hoodie on, starts covering his face, Loki. I'm thinking, no. This is not how this is going to go down. And he's like, calm down. Like, I'm from this life. Like, I know how this stuff goes. And I'm like, please, dear Father Lord, I just want him to stand there as a male character so Takutwa doesn't feel like it's yet another girl that he has to confront, because I don't think he's dealt with men. I don't want this to become physical in any kind of way. But we knock on the door. We see a light going on. We're thinking someone is home. Someone's coming down the stairs. We hear boom, 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 boom coming down the stairs. We're thinking, yes, my friend is getting ready. They open the door. My friend literally barges the door and says, where the fuck is Takutwa? Oh my, I will never forget this moment. What do I hear? I hear a white lady scream, oh my God. Mind you, the optics of this are not great. It is like 12 at midnight. You've got, all she can see is a dark figure in a bomber jacket, like not ballied up, but like covered up, barging in our house. And I'm thinking, my goodness, this is every woman's.
Yeah, it's a hood road gangster. It's a hood road man who ain't in there. He ain't there, and he ain't kind of amped up. He ain't got the energy to say how are you doing at midnight when he's looking to, track somebody down. It's just anyway. Let's do the best. I don't want to miss nothing. I'll go back 10 seconds. Don't you worry. We get into the meaty bit now. How long we got? 6 minutes. We're gonna see it right through to the end. Let's go.
Midnight. You've got, all she can see is a dark figure in a bomber jacket, like not bellied up, but like covered up, barging in our house. And I'm thinking, my goodness, this is every woman's nightmare. And I'm going to call him a fake name. And I'm like, Benjamin, like, calm down. And she hears a female voice and she's like hyperventilating. She's shaking at the door. And my friend Benjamin apologizes profusely, saying, I'm so sorry, we're just looking for Takutwa. And she's like, Takutwa doesn't live here anymore. She calms down. And she invites us in the house. Why she invites us in the house after what happened, I have no idea. And she begins to explain that Takutwa Chinguza hasn't been living there for a really long time. And she shows us this stack of letters that have come through the door that obviously haven't been opened because Takutwa doesn't live there. She explains that the reason he got kicked out of this property is because the landlord discovered that he was renting this property illegally to 10 immigrants, like stuffing 10 immigrants into a 1-bedroom house. Like, this is a sick person. But also, this scam is clearly more than just this petty scamming girls, as in this whole guy's life seems to be revolving around doing scam after scam. Remember that fat stack of letters that the lady showed us? My friend from school doesn't give a heck. He just takes a fat stack, he starts ripping open the letters one by one. Court case, overdue payment. And then he opens a letter that is, I don't know if it's a P90, a P50, a P45. Anyway, it's a P something from Tesco addressed to Takutwa, 1, and his girlfriend, 2. They were both working at Tesco at some point, and I guess they turned their life around by starting to scam the heck out of people. Like, it's looking crazy, but it's very evident at this stage that this whole guy's life is just one massive scam. After having tea with this lady, after discussing with this lady and finding out there's more information, we drive home. So we get home, but I was not done with Takutwa, okay? I wasn't done with Takutwa. So the next morning, I call Michelle, I explain everything that has happened so far, and I said to her,
it's okay. I thought there's going to get some address from that, you know what I mean, or some kind of information that's going to lead on from knowing that they worked at Tesco or something like that. But I thought, listen, when they're making that kind of money, they can be working at Tesco no more. But anyway, let's go on.
You need to make sure you're not paying this 12,500 to Takutwa. And she starts to panic and say, oh, well, but he's paid my uni fees and my university have said that the fees have been paid, yada, yada, yada. And I said, I showed you the refund. He's requested a refund. He's scamming you out of money. If the refund has still not been processed, you need to call up your university and make sure that refund never gets processed, first of all. And then second of all, you're not going to pay him back because he tried to scam you. So she calls up the university, and then the university explains that apparently once tuition fees have been processed and paid, they can't be refunded unless they approve the refund via PayPal. And so the refund won't be processed anyway. This is not a notification that Takutwa has received yet, clearly, because he's under the impression that he's getting a refund of £10,800 plus the £12,500 from Michelle. And at this stage, she's scared to tell Takutwa that she's not going to be paying the money back. So I'm like, babe, I would love to tell him on behalf.
Why is Michelle not paying him the money back? Hold on, so hold on. So he paid her university fees. Yes, he intended to get the money back, but he didn't get the money back. So she does owe him the money, unless she's borrowed him some additional money, which I don't think's been mentioned up till now. Trying to work out why she keeps the money, Michelle. Anyway, I don't want to overthink it. Let's go.
I got my colleague's phone from school because my number was blocked and he doesn't answer private calls. And I basically got on the phone and I pretended to be Michelle's friend. I pretended to be Michelle's friend who was going to be making the payments on behalf of Michelle while she had left the country. And I was like, oh, Michelle's not really making payments. I'm going to have to pay some of it for her. She's such a bad friend. You did such a good thing. And he was like insulting her, saying, yeah, she's using me. She needs to give me my money ASAP, blah, 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 blah. At some point, I just switch out of this nice tone. And I'm like, hold on. Did I even explain who this was? And he was like, no, not really. I don't know your name. And I said, this is Shirley Becker, bitch. You're not getting your money back. You're not getting your money back. And in the middle of me screaming down the phone, he basically hangs up. I'm very satisfied at this point. I told Michelle to block his ass. Her university fees are paid and enjoy her jolly good life. Takutwa was now £10,800 down, so I'm hugely satisfied. But remember, in all of the intros, I kept talking about how myself and several other black girls were hands down. Remember, in all of the intros, I kept talking about how myself and several other black girls got scammed. Well, at some point, many years later, I actually told this story on Clubhouse. And once I told this story on Clubhouse, there was a little bit of backlash towards Takutwa on Twitter. It meant that every time someone got a bit suspicious about Takutwa Chinguza, because he was in the middle of scamming them, they would Google his name and what would come up? My Twitter handle. So I used to get so many DMs from girls saying, oh my goodness, I live in Cambridge, I live in Peterborough, I live in Ipswich, I've been scammed, I live in South Africa, I've been scammed. I can't even go back and screenshot all of the DMs because there are just so many of them. Since starting to upload this playlist series, whatever you want to call it, the amount of people that have DM'd me on TikTok to say that they've been scammed, they were about to be scammed, he's even leaked someone's nudes because he couldn't get money out of them. Like, you need to understand that this scam is so much bigger than myself and then Michelle. Until this day, Takutwa Chinguza is still operating. And so what I want more than anything, apart from the fact that I've switched on my creator program, monetization for the first time, and I hope that all of these parts give me some kind of compensation, I actually hope that this story blows up purely so that Takutwa Chinguza can't operate, because everyone will know that he's a scammer. Everyone will know his face and know what he looks like, and everyone will know that he's a scammer so that he can't scam anymore. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how Takutswa Chinguza, the black Tinder swindler, was able to scam me and several other black girls out of tens of thousands of pounds. I'm so glad to be done with this. Goodbye.
Anyway, so I had to magnify the image. It was on her page for like a split second after all of that and after she just said, so you can identify him so you're not scammed yourself. It was on there for like a microsecond, but this is him. To the Kutsa? I can't remember. That's him. Beware. Have you seen this man? Stay away. Yeah, it looks like he's potentially in business class there. Oh no, that's a sleeper, isn't it? That is next level. Okay. That's him anyway. Chikutsa. It's all business. Oh, this is the one. I'm just trying to see if that looks like it's been photoshopped. Interesting. Otherwise, why would he actually be in there? And it's still hard to tell whether if that has been photoshopped or not. And this is the other one, yeah, green. Same hat, different colour scrubs, still got that stethoscope around his neck. Interesting. Hard to tell. Anyway, please like, subscribe. That is Steve, and I am out.